the stream, so our faces are on it. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a shit show.
Oh, hopefully it does.
If
Come
I,
on.
If I disconnect
What?
at any point, you guys take it, and I'll just go to bed.
Set this motherfucker on fire.
Wow! All right. Okay. Tomorrow is Thursday, the 17th of August. All right. Quiet, please, everybody. Positions. Balls. Funny enough, this is all going to be recorded for Bobby to hear, so he's going to be like, oh, God's sake, this is the last time I ask him to do this. Right, okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. It's Thursday, 17th of August, and you are listening to episode 159 of the Talking Games podcast. I am neither Bobby Shortle. I am not Justin Townsend. This week, they have been mad enough to ask me, Hugh Parry, to host. But thankfully for you guys, I have some extremely attractive co-hosts with me, who are Miss Sam Suvak.
Hello.
Miss Kelsey Lavati.
Hey.
And Mr. Matthew Wood.
All right. Hi, guys.
Look at him all hairy and sexy over there.
That's me. Just a big woolly love machine.
Woolly Matthew Mammoth.
The woolly Matthew Mammoth. I
Yes.
like that quite a bit, actually.
I forgot to mention before we started recording, I'm actually wearing a t-shirt, Matt, that your wife was present when I bought it.
Oh,
So
cool.
There we go. There's a
Mara, get in there.
There's a cool story bro moment. So how is everybody? How are we all? Matt, after 7,000 podcasts in the last 2 days, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm surviving. I also started teaching this week, so that's been fun.
Have you been doing that via podcast or?
No. They wouldn't listen.
God damn it.
I know.
How do your students feel about all that facial hair and that bushy hair you've got now?
Teenagers are the worst. Like they're not subtle. Like I don't even know these people at this point. I've spent maybe an hour with them, and they're like, "You have a lot of hair."
I mean, it's a fact. You do.
Yeah, they're not wrong, but at the same time, it's like
you'd be like, "Kids, you should see where else I've got hair."
Yeah. You have acne. I mean, I can't do that.
Well,
you smell weird. But no, I can't do that. I have to say, oh, yeah, I guess I do.
So they give you the old, how old are you? I'm 29. That's really old. That's like 70.
They do that thing where it's like, like, can you tell me, like when's your birthday? Like, why do you want to know that?
What does it matter to you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right.
Brilliant. Cool. Right. So, to start off with, we're going to address the big news thing. So I'm not going to speak about in detail what happened in Charlottesville because everybody knows what's happened. But I feel like it's an opportune time for us to reiterate what Talking Games means and what we're about. So I think I speak on everybody's behalf when I say any kind of hate or, racism, sexism, homophobia, anything of that ilk is not welcome in our lives or at Talking Games. We are, and we reiterate it numerous times, a safe place for everybody. And I feel like right now, as gamers, we as a community have kind of like a unique position in what we love doing, in that we can easily come across tens of people every day and interact with them. Not just like, you're there in the same room playing with them on Overwatch or everybody, but you can physically speak to these people and interact with them. And I think right now is a good time for us as gamers to, like, I won't say do better, because that's, saying that we all go onto Overwatch and effing blind at people. But you can make or break somebody's day when you're playing a video game. If you give them shit because you don't think they're playing Mercy properly, or you have a go at them for beating you at FIFA, you can, you don't know what that person's been through in a day, and you could easily just, like, you could ruin a day. You could ruin the next couple of days. So I think right now, if you're playing a game and you have the opportunity to interact with people, please just be nice to each other, because you don't know who you're talking to. You might be talking to someone who the events of last week could be absolutely terrified by it. And I personally am friends with people who live in the States who are terrified by what's going on. Like, white supremacy isn't a thing that should fucking exist. Like, it's abhorrent. So just take some time. If you're frustrated in a game, just breathe, be cool. You don't know if you're playing with a kid or someone who's new to the game or someone who's just having a shitty day. Just please, please, please be good to each other. So that kind of leads me into the news item we're going to speak about, only briefly, because it ties into it. So Discord has banned, I'm reading this from Kotaku's article. So they've banned servers and several users linked to white supremacist and Nazi ideologists. So their official line, and this is a quote, it says, "We will continue to take action against white supremacy, Nazi ideology, and all forms of hate." And this was sent to Kotaku from Discord's CMO, Eros Resmini. And he says, "We unequivocally condemn white supremacy, neo-Nazism, or any other group, term, ideology that is based on these beliefs. They are not welcome at Discord. While we don't read people's private servers, our terms of service explicitly forbid harassment, threatening messages, or calls to violence. The public server linked to altright.com that violated those terms was shut down, along with several other public groups and accounts fostering bad actors on Discord. We will continue to be aggressive to ensure that Discord exists for the community we set out to support, gamers." So, I guess, like, personally for me, I think that's a really cool move. Like, some company that's so, like, massively linked to gaming, putting out such an unequivocal statement saying hate of any kind of form isn't welcome on their service is like a really good statement for a company like that, which is used by gamers. So what are your guys' thoughts? Sam, how do you feel about this?
It just made me really happy. You know, I mean, we look to ideally leaders to take a stand and do what's right. And a lot of times that's not happening. So anytime anyone who can do something stands up and does it, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like this is a good place to be. And I mean, there are tons of just negative things out there, and knowing that someone wants to it's cheesy, but make the world a better place and make a safe spot for people. I think it's fantastic, and it made me really happy when I heard that news.
Cool. Anyone else? Anybody got anything else to say want to say on this matter?
I heard a lot of the criticism against it was people thinking it was a free speech violation. It's absolutely not. What people don't understand is Discord is it's a privately owned. I mean, it's not a public service. It's not a public forum. Like, they're well within their rights if they feel that what you're talking about is,
of course,
against their policies. They can totally remove that, and they should. I'm glad they did. And
it's also, don't they have, like, I'm pretty sure when you enter like a Discord chat room or something of that matter, like, there are rules in place for hate speech and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, freedom of speech doesn't necessarily, and people say this all the time, freedom of speech doesn't necessarily mean freedom of consequence.
Exactly.
I mean, one of your rights, you could say whatever the fuck you want, but it doesn't mean that people aren't going to be upset about it.
Yeah.
And
Exactly,
take
yeah.
action against it.
And I completely agree. Like, freedom of speech isn't freedom from morals. Like, freedom of speech doesn't give you the right to feel like you can say what you want and get away with it. Like, hate speech, as far as I'm concerned, I don't even think that, okay, freedom of speech, you can argue that people are allowed to go, yes, I don't like this or that, or the other group of people. But that's morally reprehensible. So freedom of speech in a public forum, which Discord isn't, because it's, as Matt said, it's a privately owned thing. If you're saying it in public, then be prepared for somebody to throw your shit back in your face. And with Discord, they have a terms of service, which when you sign up to, you agree. And each server will, within that, then have their own set of rules and regulations as well. Same as, like, you watch a Twitch channel. When you go into a Twitch channel the first time, you'll have the rules of their chat. They'll be like, everybody speaking the same language, be nice to each other, no racism, no sexism, blah, 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 blah. So Discord has every right to, if their company ethos is, we don't support hate speech, then they have every right to shut these people down. So I think it's a good, it's a good, like, planting of a flag and a good way to, like, make the gaming community go, like, turn around and go, yeah, okay, this shit isn't going to be stood for, I think.
Hate speech is a form of harassment. Harassment is illegal. And, it's as simple as that. If you are going around making people completely uncomfortable and fear of their lives and feel, like that's, I wish that it's just it's such not a debatable thing, it shouldn't be, but I hate it. Living in the South is really lame sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I live in Wales, which has, like, mid Wales is very, a lot of it is built around, like, they're industrial towns. They were built around mines, and that industry no longer exists. And they're, I'm not going to insult the people who live there, because there's a lot of very, very nice people who live in the Welsh valleys, but there lies some of the worst poverty and poorly educated people in Wales there. And sometimes when, like, I've got friends who live in some towns in the Welsh valleys, and the vast majority of people are, like, just salt of the earth. But in terms of people being openly, like, saying things that are a bit homophobic or racist, it's, if you want to avoid that type of thing in Wales, then definitely don't go there, because it's a similar thing, I think. But we'll draw a line under that one now, and we'll get on to some happy things and talk about some video games. So I'm going to bring up my Google Doc, because I can't remember what I put on my lightning round. So I'm going to take the bullet as host, and I am going to start. So I will put 3 minutes on the clock, which I didn't prepare. There we go, and go. Right, so firstly, I will talk about the game that we don't talk about on Talking Games anymore, which is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Still absolutely loving that game. The tension and just downright, like, I sweat profusely and my heart pounds as if I've just finished the marathon when I'm playing that game. It starts off and you're just like, hey, I'm picking some guns up, and then once you hit sort of like about 30 people left, you're just kind of like, oh god, this is getting tense now. And randomly Bobby put the word out, I can't remember what it was last, like maybe on the weekend, and we managed to put a full squad together. And all I'll say is Bobby got fed for the first time, thank God. So we now have, the two people who play that game mostly on the podcast now have chicken dinners under their belt, so to speak. I talked briefly about Lawbreakers, but I'll let Sam talk about it more because she's played more of it than I have.
I'm not going to talk about Lawbreakers.
Are you not?
No. Change of plans, sorry.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll talk about Lawbreakers. Good fun shooter, like just crazy fast paced, got a hell of a lot of attitude to it. I'm absolutely rubbish at it, which you can see on the What Is video that Cody and Sam put together. But it's good fun. It's, it's people compare it to Overwatch, but it's, in the same genre. It's like comparing like Madden to FIFA. So I think the comparison is a bit unfair because they're both doing very different things in the genre, but it's good fun. I am disappointed that by all accounts the sales have been pretty low. But unfortunately, sometimes games like these just enter a market that's already a bit stacked, and I think maybe, I don't know whether that area has hit saturation point in terms of the amount of games in it. So next up, I'm going to talk about Sonic Mania. I bought this the other day, and it's so cool. That's all I'm going to say about it. If you love old school side-scrolling Sonic, get it. It's like proper nostalgia trip. And lastly, I finally finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Yay! And I both love that game for being fucking amazing, but I hate it for making my Game of the Year list even more friggin' tricky than it's going to be. Gorgeous looking game. Amazing story. It takes a little bit time to get going, but once it hits in, like that game feels like it's coming to the end of it, like in terms of like how many revelations there are. I'm just gonna carry on going because this is my show, and I'm talking about Horizon, and it deserves to be talked about.
It does,
and it just like that game, like for the last sort of 5 hours, just keeps ramping up, just peeling back the layers on the story, and it's brilliant. Like in terms of story, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Aloy is one of my favorite leading characters in a game ever, and just the characters in general, there's such a brilliant diversity to that world. Like you've just got like female characters, all of which who have like a lot of agency. There's racial diversity in the characters, and I'm so glad I went, shit, Destiny's out in a couple of weeks, I need to finish this because I'm not going to if I don't. And then I ended up playing it for about 20 hours over 2.5 days. So that's my half an hour long lightning round. So next I am going to pick on you, Matt. Do you have stuff you can speak about?
Yeah. I just slapped it on the old Google Doc.
Thank you.
So yeah, nothing like the last minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Right, 3 minutes, go.
All right. I'm going to start with this company that I don't know if y'all really ever heard of them. I wasn't too familiar with them until I decided to actually purchase something from them. They're called Limited Run Games, and it's a pretty interesting concept because, I mean, if you're kind of a collector or just like to have, you're not the biggest fan of like just digital media. Basically, they take digitally released games and they release them on physical disc. The only problem is it's in the name, it's limited. So I think I purchased Night Trap this week, which was, I think, reserved like 4,000 copies or something. And apparently there are people that just hate this company because if it's a popular game, it will, like they released that Wonder Boy remake a couple of weeks ago, and they just sell out incredibly quickly. Like I think Night Trap sold out in like 2 minutes or something. And I don't know, it got me thinking about how that's kind of a constant in video games lately. Just the collector's editions are like like we see this with Nintendo all the time. Something gets released that people want, and if you're not quick or if you're not lucky, you either don't get it or you don't get it for a long time. But at the same time, I'm willing to forgive a company like Limited Run Games because I think a lot of that's going to be beyond their control. For example, I think it's probably going to cost like the publisher of the game, the developer of the game, money to even play ball with them. I mean, they're a small little company anyway. So things like being able to sufficiently have enough to make demand happy, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So I mean, I that, and on top of all of it, those games are available digitally. So like, for example, had I not gotten my copy of Night Trap, I would have probably been okay because I can still buy that game. Just I don't get a fancy box. And so I don't know. It's an interesting thing, but people on the internet are just terrible sometimes. They're just every time this company sends out.
I feel like that shouldn't be news to you.
I know, but every once in a while, like after I had bought the game, I like go on their Twitter, and they basically, I think it's ran by like 2 or 3 guys. It's like a really small little thing, and they basically said, "Hey, we're not going to be responding to anything for the next few hours because we're going to go through like all the orders to make sure to look at our quantity and also see how many people canceled and so on and so forth. At 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to have another release of the game, just for what was canceled and so on and so forth." And people are just like sending the most hateful tweets, and it's just, and on top of all of that, I'm. It's one of those cases of I'm reading it, I'm like, I don't think this person would have bought the game regardless of how much it cost or if they had an opportunity to. They just want to complain at something.
Most likely.
Yeah, but oh well, I got my game. But yeah, it is a bummer also to see like I was curious. I was like, okay, well, because people are just complaining about like people are just going to sell it on eBay, and I was curious like how much is it going for on eBay? And yeah, it is a bummer that like if you miss out and you really want it, it goes 3 times as much as it originally cost or something. Yep. And I get it; it sucks, but
it's the old supply and demand.
Yeah, it sucks.
Cool. Right, Samwise, Yogo.
Okay.
3 minutes on the clock. Rock it.
All right, so yesterday I decided to watch some gameplay for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit, I want to play this game so bad. So I bought it, I got home from work last night, I started playing. Basically, you are this badass Celt woman who is going to hell to to try to resurrect her beloved soul that the goddess Hela has with her in hell. And there's this darkness that is consuming you, I think, as you go along, and that's going to come into play more, I think, later. But it's fantastic. So a lot of what it deals with is this character has psychosis that she's trying to handle, and they've got like mental health experts that were consultants on the game. So it's supposed to be really, really good and really accurate.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it recommends playing with headphones. And so as soon as you start, you've got all these different voices like whispering in your ears, and they'll come from the left to the right. There's different voices. There's one that seems to be a narrator talking directly to you. And it feels like a little bit to me like Neverending Story, if you guys are familiar with that.
Hell
where,
yeah.
Bastion's reading the book, but he has a part to play in it. And it's like they're talking to you like that. And it feels like you're really engaged. And it's awesome. It's a beautiful game. Like you're going to hell, and it's this desolate, horrible-looking landscape, but it's just beautiful in its horror. The sound effects are great. There's no HUD on your screen, so it's just the view and you. And it also has an awesome photo mode, which is like Horizon Zero Dawn. And this game kind of reminds me of Horizon Zero Dawn a little bit. The characters are a little bit similar. It feels like if Aloy just like horrible shit happened to her and she went in this dark Elseworlds, like this could be that game. the fighting, you've got a sword and you're fighting. I'm not usually good at fighting like that, but it's pretty simple and intuitive, and I really actually enjoy the combat in this. And the voices that are in your head, like, they'll kind of help you out. They'll be like, oh, they're behind you now, and so you have to like turn and do stuff. I was fighting this boss, and like the voices kept telling me to focus, and I'm like, yeah, I'm focusing, I'm trying to get him. And then I realized there's this ability you can use that is called focus, and that helps break his defense to let you get in there and finish him off. It's just amazing. You go through and you have to find different runes, which that's been my hardest part right now, because you find things in nature that look like the shape of the rune to unlock doors. Some of them are pretty easy. Some of them you have to find multiple things to put together and get just the right viewpoint to get it. What else? Oh my god, I love it so much. I started last night, and like, it's, there's this thunderstorm in the game. It just so happened there was a thunderstorm in real life at my house, and I was just like, oh, this is so perfect. I'm recording a lady's choice with it. I don't know, the audio might be a little off because like these voices are whispering to me, and I get in the mood and like I'm like, oh, I'm whispering on the video because I don't want to talk too loud with these voices. But yeah, it's oh my god, you guys, I don't even understand why it's grabbed me so much, but I feel like this is like the most excited about a game that I've been all year. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
you
I
guys
think
should
it's one of
check
those
it out.
games that's kind of like, I think because of what the main character's going through and how they went about putting that in the game, with them consulting like psychiatrists and so on and so forth. I think it, like, when you see that they've done that, like gone into that much depth, like sometimes you're not, when they do things like that, you're not always convinced whether or not like, it's just, they're just putting voices in somebody's head. But when they do that with it, you're kind of like, okay, there's an air of like, this is like genuinely what could happen to somebody experiencing those things. And also, being a Welshman, I fully approve of any game that has a Celt in it, being a Celtic nation ourselves. So,
is it scary? Sorry, is it scary?
Yeah. Well, yes. It's like so creepy while you're playing it, and then like when you're fighting people, they just kind of dissolve, appear out of nowhere, and they're there like out of the shadows fighting you.
Oh no.
And they're really like horrifying looking. So I think that's part of why I enjoy it too, because I love horror. So it really fills my creepy need there. But yeah, it's great. I love it so much.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. I think the buzz around it, I think it's gonna have to be a must play for
yeah, I heard good things about it.
I mean, I've
only played about an hour and a half maybe, but it's already in my top 3 games.
Yeah,
of the year.
I've heard it's not very long. I think Bobby said it's about 6-7 hours long, so I don't think it's a huge game by any means. So
yeah,
right there,
and it's only $30, so
yeah,
you should get
it's a good price. It's a good price.
Yes,
right, Kelsey, are you ready? Look at that grin.
Yes.
Right, 3 minutes on the clock. Go.
So I've played 2 games a lot more recently. One is kind of lame. It's Yokai Watch Wibble Wobble on mobile. It's a lot of fun. If you like Yokai Watch, I would recommend it. It's pretty much like a bubble popping sort of game. Follows the same sort of mechanics as Yokai Watch itself. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend it if you like Candy Crush and that sort of mobile experience. I've started Night in the Woods. Really liking it. I love the feel of the game. Like when this is just an example that I noticed, but it really stuck with me. When she's running up a hill, it's a lot harder for me. Like I'm pressing the controller the same way, but I'm forcing because I noticed that she's not going up as fast. So I think that that's like a great addition that I really appreciate in gameplay. I'm only about 2 hours in, so I can't really comment on the storyline, but I really like May. She's neat. There's one scene where she gets drunk at a campfire and she starts screaming at people, and I was like, in there. And I also wanted to talk, I didn't talk about the games I played at Montreal Comic Con, which was about a month ago. But one of the games that really stuck with me that I kind of wanted to talk about was Detroit Become Human, which is, I'm sure we've probably seen some clips. Basically, it's the Android game. So you start off the demo. It was like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So you're Connor, and you come to a house, and right away you could tell that you don't belong. You yourself as the player know you're an android, and they know they're an android. So you sort of pick up on key things, like the police officers don't provide you with enough information, and depending on what you ask, gets you specific answers from the cops. And so with everything that you do, you have let's say if you're looking at the video, your percentage could go up or down, depending on the questions that you ask and the elements that you are able to pass. So for example, if you do well with the cop and you get the right answer, your gauge will go up. So you go up to you could solve this murder or kidnapping or whatever with 60% success rate. If you ask the wrong questions, the cop will tell you basically to fuck off, and your gauge will go down to 10%. And depending on what you pick up throughout the room, what you explore, what you connect and link together, your success rate can go up and up. So in the demo, you're basically trying to save a kid whose android babysitter sort of the family has a breakdown, and he doesn't feel accepted in the family anymore, so he kidnaps the kid and he's on the roof, and the cops want you to sort of deal with it because you're an android as well. And depending on your success rate and the percentage that you have in the corner of the screen, that you can decide whether or not you can save the child, essentially. So I thought that just in that short demo alone, it really gripped me, because you see the fight, I don't know how to say it, the conflict between the humans and the androids, and it really pulled me in story-wise. And I think that the mechanic of having the percentage on the side was really interesting, and it makes different endings to different scenarios, which I always like when I play a game. I find that a very interesting game mechanic. So I just wanted to talk about it because I thought it was a really interesting game that I think people put off, sort of, and as did I. And then when I played the demo, I was actually really interested in the story, and I think it could touch upon interesting aspects on human and AI relations, which we might not have to deal with now, but could possibly deal with in the future. So I thought it was an interesting game.
That does sound quite cool.
Yeah.
So that's lightning rounds out of the way. So I put out a call. Bobby sent me a couple of questions as well from people. So we have some listener questions to have some fun with. So first one is from Christian Barger. And he's given us a list of what he misses. He says, what do you miss about the 8 and 16-bit video game eras? Here's what I miss. 1. Anticipating a game that I really don't know anything about. 2. Saving money for what felt like forever for a highly anticipated game, like Top Gun on the NES, that absolutely sucked. 3. Instruction manuals. Oh, yeah, I miss instruction manuals too.
Yeah.
4. Secret game codes. Yes. Up, down, down. Left, right. 5. Hearing my dad use the F word repeatedly for the first time in my life while he played Super Mario Brothers. That's one that I can attest to. I definitely learned a lot of my vocabulary from my father playing video games. 6. Going to the video rental store to rent games. 7. Super hard games got next to last stage of NES Ghosts and Goblins, never beat the Flying Devil boss. This was brilliant. 8. The Sega 900 number game helpline. I ran up a $50 call to beat the last castle of Phantasy Star. 7 4s up, 2 down, and 5 up. How the heck was I supposed to figure that out? So, I think this will be a good one for Matt to answer. Like, I will have answers for this one as well, but let's go to Matt, I think, first.
I miss renting video games. That was a lot of fun. I mean, we were never the kind of people that, and my parents, I mean, they didn't just buy us games, you know, like that's one of the great things about being an adult. I can make a decision. I want to buy Sonic Mania. I bought Sonic Mania. I can do that. And now the only person I have to ask is my wife. But like when I was a kid, it was like birthday, Christmas. That's it. That's pretty much it. Or if you like trade, you know, your Star Wars action figures for your friend's copy of Mortal Kombat 2 or something, which I would never do.
I was about to say, whoa, you did what?
Yeah, no. But no, renting games was a blast because it was competitive because your store would only get like 5 copies of a game. Sometimes you would just be at the mercy of like your mom, who's like, I'm going to stop by there after work. Whatever I get, you're getting. Like I remember we got stuck with Robotron 64. Yeah, and I was like, what the hell, Mom? Like, of all the games, you got this crap?
Why do you hate me?
Yeah, exactly. And that would be your weekend. That would be your entire weekend. Because, like, when you're a kid, especially, like, we lived in the middle of, like, kind of nowhere. So it wasn't like I could just go up the street to a friend's house. It was like, we're here all weekend. So, like, if you got a shitty game, you had to find a way to make it not shitty. And luckily, you know, I love the rental store. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think for me, renting video games is probably the big one too. Like, about 5 minutes walk from my house, there was this like huge, well, for a rental store anyway, it was massive. And it was really weird as well. Like the walls were made like to look as if they were like the side of like cliffs, and it was like the ceiling had like netting on it which had like plastic leaves and stuff. It was almost like they tried to make it look like a forest or something, which was really this really odd aesthetic. And I can remember, similar to you, Matt, like I had, when I first got my Super Nintendo, I had the original FIFA, and I think it was like a collector's edition of Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which was in like this silver tin, and it came with like a little badge. And I think it cost like mum and dad like 80 quid. So like, if you bought that now, like inflation, it would probably be about like £3,000.
Games were so expensive back then.
I know, it was crazy. Like games here have never been like, when you guys say it's $60 a game, I go, and then realize like when you translate that to pounds, it's like, you know, a little bit less. But back then games were like £60, and it just like, it's crazy. But the one thing that always sticks in my mind was they had this massive wall, and they had a really good selection of like, they had NES games, Super Nintendo games, Mega Drive, Genesis games, so on and so forth. But the video game selection was right next to this door that had a beaded curtain.
Oh boy!
I can remember seeing guys go through this curtain, and I'd be like, "Mum, what's in there?" And she's like, "Nothing you want to concern yourself with. Just pick a game, and then we'll go." So that is like one of my lasting memories of the 16-bit era.
That room is for the perverts that don't want to buy it.
Yeah, and don't have the internet yet.
They just want to rent it.
They didn't have the internet back then, Hugh.
Yeah. I know. Yes, maybe my mum was. Yeah, my mum's basically Nostradamus. Give them 20 years, and you won't see them anymore. Sam and Kelsey, do you guys have any memories of that era? I'm anticipating that Kelsey might not, because she's a wee child.
Me.
Oh, she does.
But just
please,
yeah. Well, just because you guys are talking about renting video games, and I have a memory of we were at. It's not Blockbuster, but it's the Quebec equivalent, Videotron. And I remember going, and like my dad would go to rent movies, and I would go look at like the Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So I would like be turning the thing while my dad was picking a movie. And I remember like there were these 2 boys behind, and they were like freaking out about a game. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember like just sticking like my hands and face on like where the consoles were, and I was like, wow, what is that?
Whole new
And then
world.
my dad, yeah. Then my dad would like pull me away, and it was the same like if we went to Toys R Us, like I would run to like the electronics. Like you guys just brought back these memories, and I would like run to electronics, and I would like go on and like play a little bit like before my dad came to like find me. But all I remember is like my hands on the glass.
And then the guy
box
who
and,
runs
like,
the
looking...
store's like, that girl's been in here sticking her hands all over the glass.
It was every time I would like go see the cards, because it was two things I could never have. It was video games and trading cards.
Mm.
And I always used to just look at them like a sad little child. Like
we had Star Video, which now, like all other video stores, is a vape shop. It's just that's how it happens.
Funnily enough, down just like 2 minutes walk from my house, one of the other video rental shops by here is a fucking vape store, and you can never see in it. It's it's a fucking hot box at all times. That shop, it's ridiculous.
It's the worst because you're like, I love this place once, and now I never ever want to go in it. But yeah. Star Video, so it was like a locally owned place. So like they would rent consoles. And I remember we rented the Sony PlayStation. I remember like the process. I didn't understand like the stuff they were asking my mom for, like that, you had to put a deposit and they needed like 2 forms of ID. I just remember it like being the most complicated thing and my mom being super pissed off at renting a console. And then my friend Thomas Allgood in probably 4th or 5th grade rented the Virtual Boy. One weekend. Yeah. And it came in a big black briefcase and we were all excited. And then we instantly remembered only one person can play this at a time. So like I remember he had like 7 people over and like, Virtual Boy. It's like, we're gonna play Mario Tennis. It's gonna be the best. And then he'd started up and, like, is it fun? He's like, hold on. Is it fun? So we like rotate and there's like sweat all over it. And it wasn't fun. Like every Virtual Boy game is terrible except like Wario 3. But no one, like when that's your best game, you're a failed console. And yeah.
And renting a VR headset to me like feels a lot like renting a pair of shoes. Like,
right. It's a miracle we all.
Yeah. No.
We should have all had pink eye. Yeah. It was filthy.
Hopefully nobody will have farted all over it.
Oh yeah, we're like 8-year-old boys, so we're all disgusting.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And so it's just like, let me play and just rub your face. And so you try to do the thing like, maybe we can both do this where like we each share an eye. Like, no, that's not how that works, idiot.
Brilliant. Right. So also from Christian, this is quite a good one because I know 3. Matt, do you play Overwatch? Have you played Overwatch?
I have not.
Okay,
I'm so sorry.
3/4 of us have/do. So he also says, my 13-year-old son is a dedicated Overwatch player, and whoever your son is, give him mad credit because he's attained diamond level in past seasons. Lately, however, he's become incredibly frustrated by competitive mode, and I feel you there. I myself, that's where my frustrations lie with Overwatch. He has seen his ratings decline because he feels his teammates don't pull their weight by doing their jobs. He gets so frustrated that we have to make him come downstairs and take breaks. I know one of his problems is that he doesn't have a group he plays with, so he plays with random teammates. He needs some frustration techniques. 2 questions. How do you manage frustration when teammates cause you to lose? And secondly, is there anything you can do even though your team loses that will prevent your ranking from dropping? Sam, how do you feel about this one?
Well, I don't play much competitive. I did a little bit of Overwatch, and I had pretty decent experiences with it. The worst I have is when I'm playing with Talking Games guys, and they get angry about other teammates. So,
those guys.
So I know, man. But I mean, I usually am I'm not. I think the people who get angry or frustrated the most are like really good players who really care about, you know, their ranking and doing good. And I am more of a casual player, so I don't tend to get too upset. You know, I mean, I'll be like, oh, it sucks that, you know, we're losing, but I mean, if I get frustrated, I'll just stop and go do something else. And I don't deal with people. So like if I'm on chat and people are being jerks, I'll just go mute it and then leave that lobby as soon as I can. Just because I don't want to deal with it. You know, there's a lot of techniques for trying to like talk people down and get people calmed down, but it's not for me. So most of the time, even when I'm playing like competitive group team games, I'm not in chat just because it's not something I want to deal with.
Yeah,
So
I know what you
I
mean.
don't have good answers for that.
I'm
And
never.
for his
I'm.
second part of his,
I'm
for
never
the
in
second
team
part, I don't
chat.
think there's anything he can do to save his rank when he's with losing teams. That I don't think there's an answer for that one.
No, Kelsey, have you
Um,
you haven't played any competitive yet, have you? Or oh no, you may. Did you play some with
I
Justin?
do. Well, not competitive mode. We did
Okay.
quick play and the arcade games,
Yeah.
but it's mostly because I'm afraid of being the person who pulls the team down. So I feel it from the other side, and it's frustrating for me when you kind of know it's you.
I feel the
um,
same way, Kelsey. I'm in that boat a lot. So.
so I do turn chat off. So even if someone maybe they're not yelling at me, they're providing me constructive criticism, and I don't hear them. There's no criticism for me. Um, but I think if maybe not at 13, but like for older players who experience a lot of frustration sometimes and they want to find players they could play with at the same rank as them, you could check out like community discussion boards and stuff like that, where maybe you could find people of the same caliber as yourself or as your son. Like if you want to be in the same room as him when he's maybe connecting with people like this, um, but like finding players who do maybe he plays a game and he finds someone who's a match for him and that they can both maybe they'll make an agreement like okay let's try to um, have a party and play at the same time and stuff like that. But it's also there's nothing really you can do. Like sometimes you could play a game and you'll notice that your Reaper's in the corner and he hasn't moved for 20 minutes. The player's just not there, and that alone could bring the team down. So it's just like when you play with other people, it's sort of you have to realize that not everyone cares as much as you do, and not everyone um, cares about their rank, and like that is unfortunate for people who do care about their rank. And I think it's just like finding a community of people that you can play with that have the same goals as you do.
And I think also like when you're playing, sometimes you're gonna come across players who do have a similar mindset as you and are good to play with, and definitely, you know, try to friend those people and message them and be like, hey, I had a good time with you, do you want to team up some other time, and try to get people like that, and maybe you can build a group of similar minded people that you play
Exactly.
well with. So
Yeah, and I do understand his frustration with Overwatch. In the competitive, like one of the reasons why I stepped away, not just from competitive but Overwatch, entirely, unless like I'm able to jump on with friends, is because I find it's gotten increasingly worse with people who just AFK through games. You know, you start the game and they're just there to, you know, they might get like some competitive points at the end of it because they just keep going into games just to sit there, and they've no interest in winning, or they'll be there taking part, but they'll just mess around. Like they'll stand in front of, like I was playing, I think the one game that like was the straw that broke the donkey's back for me was I was playing a competitive game, and I think I was just shy of like getting up into the next rank, and our Genji all the way through the game was just stood in front of our Bastion, blocking his view, just bobbing up and down all the way through the game. And I was just like, I can't play this game anymore. Like, every single game is just, more often than not, someone doing something like that. And hopefully when they bring the report feature in, because one of the things you can report people for is supposedly deliberately throwing games and just being griefers and so on and so forth, is, you know, them deliberately throwing. So hopefully when the report feature comes in, he might find that the overall sort of effort that people are putting into the game will improve. As far as dealing with that frustration goes, you just got to remember that it's just a game at the end of the day. Like, I can understand, like, you know, competitive is there to, you know, it feels good as a gamer getting up into the ranks. But if you're frustrated by it, step away, play something else, just play quick play, whatever, just make it so it doesn't matter that much anymore. And as Sam said, I think, unfortunately, if you're losing games, you're going to lose rank. I mean, you can play as well as you can to ensure that, I think you know, if you do well personally in a game, you will lose less points. But I think, unfortunately, when you lose a game, you lose rank regardless. So sadly, I think that's not going to change, which, you know, with competitive, that's the point. You win, you go forward, you lose, you go backwards. It's like, it's the same with like Splatoon with their competitive modes. So sadly, I think that's something that you can't avoid. So let's answer a question from someone called Kelsey. And she asks, if the Overwatch characters were flavors, which flavors would they be?
Great question, Kelsey. Great question.
I mean, we might be in danger of running long on the podcast if we get as deep as we could into this. So I'm just saying we need to be careful. Okay.
I have an example. Lucio is definitely lime.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because he is predominantly green.
Widowmaker is blueberry, obviously.
I was thinking Winston was blueberry, but Widowmaker could be blueberry. Good.
No, I think Winston would be banana flavored.
Oh, or peanut butter.
Because he's a gorilla, Hugh.
Yeah. No, I don't want a banana. Well,
Can I try one?
Yes.
Yes. Go, Matt. Come
on. Okay. I know nothing about Overwatch.
This is why this will be good.
There's a character. Yeah. I know there's a character named Tracer.
There is.
It's got a bit of an accent.
She does.
Bangers and mash.
Yes. That's like a proper, like, Jelly Belly flavor. Sure. Like gourmet jelly bean type flavor. Yeah. I reckon Tracer would be, or fish and chips.
How'd I do?
You did very well, I think.
Good. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say fish and chips.
I like to say, it was between fish and chips, but bangers and mash is a much more fun thing to say.
Yeah. You've just about covered Britain's culinary legacy right there.
I wanted to try.
Diva would be strawberry starburst.
Ooh,
specifically.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
It's very different than regular strawberry.
I've had time to consider this.
Or bubblegum.
Yeah.
Like that classic like bubblegum flavor.
No, strawberry starburst. No. Strawberry starburst.
All right, Kelsey.
All right, we've got Junkrat, I think, would just be gasoline.
There's a character named Junkrat?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
What is this game?
And Roadhog would be ham flavored.
Definitely,
Roadhog.
Yes. Roadhog.
Is he a pig?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah, kind of piggish.
He's like a man bear pig.
Man, you know what would be a bad game? Y'all tell me names of Overwatch characters, and I describe what they look like.
Yeah, that
Mercy.
It's like a nurse.
Very good. Very good.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go with vanilla for Mercy.
Yes, I thought that too.
Yes.
What? Because she's bland, or
No, vanilla's a good flavor. It's like a pure, clean flavor, just like
she's a pure vanilla bean.
Exactly. She's perfect.
wow,
It's only good if you add other stuff to it.
What would Doomfist's flavor be?
Okay, he looks like his primary color is silver.
Close.
Okay,
Slightly more valuable.
I'm sure he has quite the fist, like a Hellboy-ish fist.
Yes.
It's probably organic, not metallic.
Incorrect.
I'm sorry.
You should be. Doomfist. What flavor would Doomfist be? That's a tricky
I
one.
was struggling with Doomfist today.
Like,
because
is anger a flavor?
I would just say beef. Like, just a thick slab of beef.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I was like, cheetah.
Abs flavor.
Meat.
Yeah.
But then I thought meat sounded too sexual, so I was like, I can't say that.
Like, since when has Kelsey ever censored herself?
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, Kel, meat's a bit much.
This guy looks like Kratos.
Yes. Yeah. Ish.
Or Dalsim.
Yeah. I think May. Maybe May would be bubblegum flavor. Because she's quite sweet. Like, she apologizes
honey.
a lot. Or honey, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
whatever flavor she is, she has to be ice cream because of her abilities.
Yes. Or more like snow cone flavor.
Yeah.
So
That's a good one.
Tiger's blood.
I'm going to go with McCree, would just be tequila.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes. That's a good one. That is a good one. On the same, I would imagine Soldier 76 kind of like being like beer. Because I can just imagine him just like...
He's a daddy.
Yeah.
Is he like a Captain America-esque character?
Ish.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the
He's kinda like
father
the-
leader of the team.
Yeah, he's the
Does he have a
grizzled-
patriotic vibe to him?
He has strong morals standard, yeah. So
Yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
And he hates
yeah.
punk kids on his own.
76. Sounds 1776-y.
Yeah. Oh, man, there's an idea for a skin. Like, old school, like tri-corner hat.
Yeah,
big-
tri-corner hat.
Big
yeah.
cloak.
Yeah.
There we go. Blizzard, if you're
Oh,
listening.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Give him like a musket.
Soldier
It
76.
seems like the worst game or worst weapon to have in Overwatch probably is a musket.
Yeah.
It's one that you have to.
That wouldn't be too dissimilar from
Hold on.
Roadhog's gun, really. Yeah. Stabbing
Yeah.
gunpowder.
Going.
Yeah. 3/4 of an hour to reload, 1 second to shoot.
Exactly. You gotta make that shot count.
Yeah, right. Who have we missed? Zenyatta. What flavor would his be? What's like a Zen kind of like?
I don't know, but for some reason I'm just thinking like baklava with him. Like we were just talking about that dessert the other day. I'm just like, that's the most Zen-like dessert I can think of. Maybe I don't know.
Baklava
Yeah.
is so good.
It is good.
I see it now.
It is good. Very good. Zaya. What would Zaya be? Imagine Zaya
Something-
being like
just
Bubblegum.
Metal.
I feel like
she
she'd
could
be
be
bubblegum.
vodka, or she could be vodka.
yes. Just go for like stereotypical alcoholic drinks for whatever
Yeah.
nation they're from.
Well, but I mean, strong like a strong drink, you know.
Yeah. Who else have we missed?
Maybe Farah would be like falafel, just partially just because the names work well together.
Well, and she is Middle Eastern, kind of ish. Well, she's African, but you know, that kind of general area. I like falafel. Falafel's nice. Who have we missed?
Ginji and Hanzo.
Bastion,
Sushi.
Genji, Hanzo. No!
Eve, Honda, Blanca.
Ryu.
If you name enough, you're gonna get one, Matt. Just keep going.
Alicia.
Madoka.
Raiden. Raphael.
We're going to end up putting, like, flavors to every video game character ever if we carry on.
Yeah.
Oh, Symmetra. What would she be? Curry?
I feel... No.
Well, if Zarya's
I
vodka,
more
then why...
seriously.
What's wrong with Curry?
You get really upset at that.
She's Indian.
I mean...
No, but with, like, her personality.
Yeah.
Like, she's complex. She needs, like, some complex flavors. Like the Miracle Berry.
Yeah.
Like, it tastes like a bunch of things depending on what you eat.
There you go.
Curry's a bunch of
I like
things.
it.
Many different spices.
You got shot down, Hugh. Let it go.
Never! I love how Kelsey's probably gone into this with, like, preconceived ideas of what every answer's going to be, and if somebody doesn't answer how she wants, she's like, no! This is how it is! These are my toys. Rah.
I just felt like they were so obvious that you guys would get the same nuanced answers as I did.
Yeah. But we're getting down to the tough ones now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is basically like MasterChef does Overwatch. I honestly can't, off the top of my head, think of anybody we've missed.
Well, Anna.
Reaper.
Reaper.
Bastion.
I can't think of any more either.
I mean,
For some reason, Reaper, I'm thinking of like a marshmallow because it's ghost-like. I don't know.
Like
A
Blueberry?
s'more. He's a little bit burnt and crisp on the outside, you know, but you get to that soft center.
Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah. I'm feeling that.
Anna would probably be paracetamol flavored because she's a
I don't know what that is.
Is that like a
Just painkillers.
like a bug spray? Oh.
That's horrible. I don't know what to do with that one. You know, she's not gonna like taste like medicine.
Well,
It's
she
like a dry mouth
shoots
that
you to
makes you
heal,
nauseous.
and taking paracetamol isn't exactly pleasant because it tastes horrible. So I can't imagine being shot to be healed is particularly fun. So I'm just going with like a leap of logic in that respect.
I don't know. I think it would be okay if we're going with medicine. I think like that when you were a child and you had like
Pepto-Bismol.
orange flavored cough syrup that tasted really good. Like I'd let her taste like that.
Calpol.
That'd be okay.
Like
Yeah,
cough
I
syrup?
approve.
So you can robo-trip off of her flavor?
Yeah,
Oh,
brilliant. Right, okay. To finish
Bless you,
off,
Kelsey.
we're gonna finish off with Kelsey's other question, and I'll basically we'll just go around, and you will answer what you would do to/with this character. So.
Oh, wait, hold on.
And Kelsey
boy.
got very angry on the Google Doc, so I feel like I'm kind of, for my own safety, in need of asking this question. And I'll read it as it's written. Excuse me, Hugh, in capital letters. Where is my fuck, marry, kill? Sonic, Wario, and Spyro. This is an important question that I need answers to. Two spelt T-O-O, so she got so angry that her ability to write properly abandoned her. And then, as an addendum from Sam, she says, I agree that this is a valid question, but you kind of bias it by giving one humanoid possibility and two animal possibilities. Sam, because, you know, that when you're talking about video game characters becomes an overriding factor. So
Sonic's sort of humanoid. He's standing on 2 feet.
He's clearly a hedgehog.
Let's not have the... Well, yeah.
He's got the body of a... Like, you could... Some states would be cool with it.
I'm just saying you could have made a better combination of options. It's fine. It's fine. We're going to play the way it was written.
It's part of my charm.
Sonic's more of a human than Wario.
Well, I won't argue there.
Yeah, we're not sure what Wario is. At least Sonic and Spyro have like defined states of being, whereas Wario is just whatever. So, right, Matt.
Man, Spyro ain't got no state of being. He's a Skylander.
Matt, fuck, marry, kill. Sonic, Wario, and Spyro. Which is what are your choices in this important question?
I would kill Spyro, because fuck Spyro.
Whoa.
No, he sucks. His game always
How
sucks.
dare you?
No, Spyro was always bad. Spyro...
There's Matt's controversy for this week.
Spyro is a universal terrible.
Okay.
He would be a terrible sex partner, and even worse life partner. If you're giving me these choices, I would prefer he live.
But it's not an option.
Would anyone have to know?
No, nobody has to know.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I would have sex with Wario.
Ooh, gross.
I know, it is gross.
So gross.
But
you like the cushion for the pushing?
No, it's just I have to assume that whoever I marry, I have to have sex with too. So
No, the rule of the game is like you don't get to have sex with the person that you marry.
Oh, I'm gonna have sex with Sonic the Hedgehog. He's been there for me for a long time.
I don't care what happens, marry him or whatever. I'm gonna do that hug.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He likes chili dogs.
He does.
He's made some bad decisions in the past 20 years. Who hasn't? Wait, so is it like Sonic Adventures Sonic, or is it cute like Genesis Sonic?
It's an all-encompassing Sonic.
Pick your own Sonic.
I want pot-bellied cute little Sonic. I don't want like slim wearing scarves hanging out with Shadow. I don't want that asshole.
I feel like there's a Dream Sonic game coming. The Sonic dating simulator where you get like each era of Sonic.
I couldn't be married to Wario. I couldn't be married to Spyro. So I have to be married to Sonic. I guess I'll have sex with Wario. I don't imagine it would last long.
Okay. Marry and divorce Sonic. Okay, Sam.
All right, so I have to preface this by saying I had to Google who Spyro was because I didn't know. That caused some controversy. And
yeah,
I know.
No, that's awesome. You've lived a happy life.
And Kelsey had to inform me that there is a daddy version of Spyro. There he is. Look at that cute guy.
The fuck?
We're talking about the daddy version. We're not talking about the cute younger version of Spyro because there's two versions, okay? So, with that in mind, first off, I have to kill Wario because he is just so sleazy. I can't deal with it. No way.
Mini games.
No. Not going to happen. Okay. I am going to marry Daddy Spyro so that I have baby Spyro as a stepchild, and that's just going to be fantastic because he's adorable. There's fucking dragons, you guys. I'm gonna live with dragons. Okay, it's gonna be awesome. And by default, that means that I have to have sex with Sonic. But based on who Sonic is, I'm hoping it'll be really fast. And we'll be done with it. There's also a chance that he might just hump my leg and be done with it.
Yeah,
so
he's guaranteed to give you a massive prick.
I agree with you.
Kelsey, your question. Give us the answer of all answered.
Obviously, I mean, look at those arms.
But is that?
I feel like you're kind of like moving the goalposts, though. You can't go.
Is that him? Or is that
Spyro the Dragon?
Is it his dad? That's what I need to know.
Does he appear in one of the Spyro games? Also, charge your phone.
Also, look at what I searched.
Hey, heads up. Spyro Daddy.
Spyro Daddy.
You're on the list now.
Marry Spyro Daddy.
Is he in any of the Spyro games?
Is he a Skylander?
I feel like...
The truth comes out.
Oh, no.
I am unaware.
Then I feel like we need to remove Spyro Daddy from the equation. No, because
Spyro Daddy, you guys can play with it.
If he doesn't exist, then he's not a video game character. Then I'm sorry, like
he's on the internet. I saw it.
The integrity of this podcast demands that if we're having a shag, marry, kill question, the characters which we're discussing need to exist.
Well, okay. I will still marry baby Spyro though, because he's adorable.
Yeah,
and
I would still marry him too.
I would treat him more as a child than as a husband. So
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm still marrying baby
still
Spyro.
A husband.
I don't care.
It's weird.
He's still a dragon.
That can't fly. Just letting you know. And collects dragonflies. Hope you like that.
It's like a penguin that breathes fire, basically.
He can't fly?
No, he can't fly. He's a bad video game character.
He flies in Skylanders.
Woo. Anyway, okay, Kelsey.
He can fly. It's fine.
Rest of your answer.
Killing Sonic. And I don't like Sonic. Okay. And I'm going to fuck Wario. I feel like we'll have an adventure. And, we don't have to have the...
What, like a megalomaniacal, like, tyrant adventure?
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe Waluigi will get in on it.
You don't want that.
I feel like you're going to catch something.
It's going to be like on top of a pizza box or something.
I feel like the truth about Kelsey has, like, been revealed via her shag, marry, kill question.
Is it the zigzag mustache?
It is. It is.
Okay, well, I guess.
Right,
I mean, don't get me wrong.
Oh, no, what is it?
He probably goes through like a can of like Dapper Dan a day on that thing. So, fuck, marry, kill. As a Welshman, I feel obliged that I need to go through spending the best day of my life with and marrying Spyro because he's a dragon. No other reasoning than that. Wario would have to be killed in the most severe and just brutal way possible, like eviscerated type deal.
Wow.
And I would have some sexy fun with Sonic the Hedgehog. Just, he's cute. He's got a lot of enthusiasm. Like Sam said, it probably will be over quickly. So you can just kind of be like, way, bye. I'm off to go and spend the rest of my life with my lovely dragon husband. So,
yeah,
that's me.
This might change some things.
Okay.
Wario has a motorcycle.
A motorcycle does not compare to a dragon.
That don't impress me much.
He can't fly.
She just said he could fly.
In Skylander.
Flutters.
He's off the ground and all four legs are in the air.
I can do that.
Prove it.
No.
I would be happy if he could still just like flutter down from a high building. That would be like flying. That's enough flying for me. I'd be fine with that.
Glide.
Wario can actually project himself with his farts.
He's the skeeziest person ever. No.
Yeah. I would imagine as a result, if by some chance there's,
This is Spyro in the air.
Yeah.
Exposed.
Hashtag not my Spyro.
Also, I feel like if on the odd chance that Wario followed through while he was doing his flying thing, that's going to put you off a little bit, let's face it.
Wario is good at golf. He's good at tennis.
Golf is a dumb sport.
Golf is a dumb sport.
He is good at hoops. Anything in the sports mix.
What's hoops? Basketball is hoops. You mean like basketball?
Yep. He played it on the GameCube.
I don't care for sports.
Sport.
Just trying. He owns his own company, WarioWare Incorporated.
Well, if you like him so much, why don't you marry him? Oh, that's right, because you want to fuck him.
Well, yes, and Sonic.
I'm seeing where Matt's
can put
going.
a ring on it because he literally collects gold rings.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, but he also drops them very easily.
Only when he's spooked.
He would spend like most of his life going, "Here's a ring. Oh no, I've dropped it. Pick it up. Here's a ring. Oh no, I've dropped it again. Oh, I've been hit while I don't have a ring. I'm dead."
Tails will be around all the time. Oh, and Sonic has the worst friends.
Tails is awesome. Take it back.
Yeah, but like, okay, do you want to hang out with Shadow? Do you want to hang out with that Big the cat? You want that to come over?
I don't know who those are.
Big. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna have some like weird like hangers on like at your house parties. That would be really weird.
I don't want to hang out with Sonic's weird animal friends.
That's why we're just having sex with him and saying goodbye.
Yeah, I might be coming over on that side. Wario has cool friends.
I don't know about that. He has cool enemies. But
I don't think he's in. I mean, do you think he's really enemies with Mario?
Of course he is. He's kind of, isn't he supposed to be like the antithesis of... he's no Bowser, don't get me wrong, but... You know.
I mean, he's always up for like, oh, Mario's going to do like a go-kart tournament. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a supportive friend.
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah, but he's also the same douchebag that tries to barge you off the track. So, you know, he's kind of like that kid that turns up at the party and knocks everybody's drinks out of their hand just to be an ass.
He's passionate. He's passionate.
Exactly. He's got an Audi belly button. That doesn't really do anything for me.
Pass. Hard pass.
Yeah. Maybe he's pregnant. Maybe
that's how it works in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah. Right. On that incredibly sensible conversation,
let's go for 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes. 30 more minutes.
I'm calling it quits on this thing. I'm done. This is my tenure as host of this fucking shit show over. Right. So, this coming Friday, which I was going to say is tomorrow, but it's not. It's tomorrow for me because it's now gone midnight. So this coming Friday, the 18th, we are having another Talking Games community night, which will be hosted by Cody. And this time it's going to be based entirely around Nintendo Switch games. So we're going to be playing, I think, probably mostly Mario Kart and Splatoon. I think Cody's got a new capture card as well, so we're going to stream it out. So anybody who wants to get involved, send us your friend codes to the Talking Games Twitter. You can DM them to us. Or if you're on our Discord server, which you can get access to via our Patreon, send them through that. So that's going to be a whole heap of fun. It starts, I believe, at 8 p.m. EST. Is that correct, Sam?
7 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think, yeah, we'll put a tweet out to clarify that, so keep an eye out on our Twitter. But yeah, like I said, if we can get it'll probably be like 8 people at a time, because I think that's the maximum that Switch games can cater for. But yeah, it's going to be great fun. Splatoon is a hoot, and Mario Kart with friends is also awesome. So if you want to send us some questions, we love questions, as you've no doubt just experienced. You can email us at games.
Well, answer anything.
You can email us at games@talkingcomicbooks.com. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/talkinggames. You can follow us on there, so you'll get notified when we're live. We also, via that channel, host the other Talking Games members who have Twitch accounts. So if I'm streaming through my personal account, you can watch it through the Talking Games. If Sam is, if Cody is, if Bobby is, if Justin is, they will be live, like Talking Games will be live at the same time hosting our stuff. You can also, if you'd like to help us fund this crazy thing we do monetarily, subscribe to us on Twitch. So if you've got Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, which gives you a free $5 a month subscription to a Twitch account of your choice, which you have to renew every month. But you can also subscribe. There's $4.99, $15, and $25 subscription levels. So if you're so inclined, no big deal if not. But we'll use all that money to pay for games, help to run the show, get us better equipment, and do better things for you. YouTube, so that's youtube.com/talkinggamesvideos. We've got a ton of stuff, so much I had to write a list. We have Heroes Hideout with Sam and Cody. I believe you're not far off the end.
Yeah. I think we've got maybe an episode or two left for the main story, and then hopefully some raids are coming out, and so we might try to do something with that. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. So that's every Monday?
Yep.
Cool. And there's also Monster Closet with Justin and Bobby. They just started playing Outlast 2, and I've seen the first episode of it, and it's very funny listening to those two grown men. Basically, I've just got this image of them sat on a couch, like holding each other because they're so scared. We also have one of Sam's other shows, Lady's Choice, where she picks a game, plays it, and just talks about it and has some fun. It's very good. We have Karen and Bobby playing Dream Daddy together. I think there's 3, maybe 4 episodes of that up now. We also have a series called Level Select with our own Matt, where he gets ordered to play retro video games by a tiny robot that sounds suspiciously like his wife.
It's a metaphor
for being married. To be honest, if married life will be my other half going to me, Hugh, play this game, I'm going to go, cool, I'm good.
You mean Spyro?
Well, I like Spyro, so I'm not the hateful man you are, Matt.
I just saw you die inside when you thought about that. So.
We have lots of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds videos, and Bobby and Megs will be doing the morning run every Friday, which you can see at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, live on Twitch, and then it'll be archived on YouTube. And then we also have our series of What Is videos where we talk about games that have come out. Like, we just record a bit of it, talk over it, and kind of a little review, sort of early impressions. You can find us on Twitter at talking_games. And our personal ones are Matt,
Johnny Matt Wood,
Kelsey,
Kelsamus, KELSSAMUS,
Sam,
SKSUVAK,
and I am at H_Paz. You can follow Bobby at Bobby Shortall, and Justin is at Joroak, JOROAK. And that wraps it up for this absolute chaos fest that's been Talking Games episode 159. Wonderful. Thank you, Kelsey.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Hugh.
And this has been the Talking Games podcast. Until next time, be good to one another.
Unless you're a dragon.
Hey.
In which you can go fuck yourself. Unless somebody else chooses to fuck you.
Go fuck yourself, Spyro. Purple little dragon.
I feel like every week, Matt, you have to say something that's entirely